John, a liquidator, and this is the Liquidator Report. So it looked like news is coming out of DC about this shooter possibly being connected to the CIA as a previous employment. We finna dive into it all. Click the like button, hype the video. We're not gonna waste any time. I want to send prayers out to the families of the two National Guard members that was affected by this act of terror yesterday. Prayers out to their loved ones. But guys, this is President Trump immediately after the attack yesterday. Let's give this a listen.
My great fellow Americans, earlier today on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, two members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They had been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those two members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the two great heroes who were so horribly shot and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you and good night.
That was President Trump addressing the nation. More information is coming out about this shooter. Let's head back over to Twitter and let's pull this up right here. It says clarification about NCTC vetting of alleged Afghan shooter from a senior U.S. official. The alleged Afghan shooter, I'm not even finna try to pronounce this man's name. I don't give two shits about his name. Began working with the CIA around 2011. Yes, he may have been 15, but it was common at that time for Afghans to forge birth certificates to appear to be 18 or older before applying to work with the U.S. government. So I'm guessing he worked with them probably overseas in Afghanistan, maybe a translator, something like that. This is just my thoughts in it. It stated there are also a few records kept in Afghanistan of birth and don't was often hard to know anyone's exact age. At the time, CIA would have done it on vetting out of him through a variety of databases, including NCTC database, to see if he had any known ties to terrorist groups. That does not mean that NCTC did the vetting of him before he began working for the CIA. The CIA did its own vetting and kept the identities of those that worked with them secret. So that could be why no one knew at first he worked for the CIA, but I believe somebody possibly leaked that information. Now, among the database, CIA would run his name through before working with him would have been again among several. NCTC would have vetting him during the 2021 operation. Allies welcome for any ties to terrorism before he was allowed into the U.S. So I'm guessing he got here in 2021. He was clean then and was well and did not show any ties to terror organization in terms of vetting. Nothing came up according to a senior U.S. official. He was clean on all checks. So yeah, man. So if he like, I know some people probably gonna be pissed off about this. Like they didn't check. Guys, I'm pretty sure the CIA checked, bro. They thoroughly checked this dude, bro. All we know, he probably had no social medias, no cell phones, no nothing. We don't know how in the hell he was in contact with ISIS or with any Afghan terror groups. We don't know, because I'm telling you right now, if anybody's coming into our country from overseas, I can 1000% tell you that they definitely checked them out, man. They said this official added that the U.S. government had been doing continuous annual vetting since the Afghans' arrival in the U.S., especially in the wake of a failed terror plot disrupted before the election last year in Oklahoma, which involved an Afghan refugee. Then it goes on and says, "Les Shooter worked in the CIA." So this was the first tweet from Jennifer Griffin in regards to the Afghan shooter. Now, Fox also released a news article talking about this set shooter as well. Let's head on over to Fox. Let's pull this up real quick. Let's give it a listen.
Is Sarah Beckstrom, Beckstrom, and Andrew Wolf with an E, Wolfe. Okay, and Sarah Beckstrom, S with an H. Okay. Now, with respect to their medical condition, as I said, they're receiving the finest medical care. Their families are with them now. They are critical. I think you understand the meaning of that. It's not clear, how this is going to end up. But let me be perfectly clear about how it will end up in this office.
Now, those National Guard members did pass away, man. I want to know you guys' thoughts down in the comments section about all of this. I am John the Liquidator. This has been another episode of the Liquidator Report. Guys, voice your opinions about this down below in the comments section. Like the video, share the content, and until next time, man, peace out.